Listen!
Welcome to Nintendo Voice Chat. This is IGN's Nintendo Show. My name is Filip Miucin, and coming up on Nintendo Voice Chat, we've got a very, very special Super Mario Odyssey Spoilercast today. And now, I know that a lot of you guys have been waiting for this for a while. We've been waiting to do this for a while. I know we're very excited. But first, we're going to address some quick news. But before we do all of that stuff, I would love to introduce my panel. Starting right over here to my right, we have Mr. Per Schneider. Hello, Per.
Nice to meet you, Philip.
Nice to meet you as well for the 57th time this month.
50th time. I'm glad we're doing the spoiler cast. I guess we're going to do it in a way where, you know, if you've only played half of the game, we'll be mindful of that and kind of work our way through that. Is that right?
Yes.
So people are not going to drop off. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
I'm ready.
And then right over here to my left, we are joined with none other than Brendan Graeber, sitting in for Brian Altana. How you doing?
Graeber, but it's-
Graeber. I apologize.
Everyone gets it wrong except Per. He never got it wrong.
I got one.
Graeber.
Yeah.
Means
it's nice
digger.
to meet you for the first time on a podcast.
Yes,
it's
it's
been
great.
a while since I've been back.
Good to be sitting next to you as well. And you actually worked on our Super Mario Odyssey wikis.
That's
right?
true. All 1 billion power moons and counting, all purple coins. Check it out. It's really good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's good wiki.
Cool.
You need
and
help,
then,
Zach?
oh, yeah.
Who are you?
It's time to jump up, superstar. I'm Zach Ryan. Here I am on the podcast with the guys
So,
doing the Nintendo thing.
so last week we had the Jonathan Dornbush in your spot. And it was
I heard
just
that.
Really weird.
Yeah, you know what Dornbush said? He said, "Oh, how about the Killers?" That's not even a band that I like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I felt really slighted by that, to be honest.
Oh, man.
Perry, you got a real international Playboy thing going on today. You got like a little just a
But you
vest
know what?
open, and you got
It's
the
super cold in the Bay
Right.
Area. Super cold meaning not freezing point. So anybody from Europe or
right.
the
Super
Midwest
cold.
is like,
Read
come on.
40 degrees. Yeah.
What's this? No, but it was really cold outside, but now it's hot in the studio. So I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cold here in our Bayside weather time, but warming up a little bit now. We'll start with the news, I
Oh.
guess. Right? Yes. I'm working on those transitions.
Killer segue.
Yep.
I'm
was
warming up those transitions.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, a little bit of news just to sort of get this out of the way, but definitely nothing to be overlooked. We finally have a release date for Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, or at least a worldwide release date, and it's going to be available on November 22nd. So if you live in Australia, you might have been playing this for the past month or so. I know I've been playing it. Have you guys been playing it in the office?
No, I don't live in Australia, Philip.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't have an Aussie phone.
Yeah.
Flight over now. I'm waiting.
But we've had it here in the office, so I've seen it. I've seen it being played, and obviously we reviewed it, and it had a positive score. I think it got a 8 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I mean, I like the Animal Crossing games, and I'm definitely gonna play it when it comes out.
I'm stupid excited for this game. Animal Crossing to me has always been a game that is better in a mobile platform. So like I really liked New Leaf a lot. This looks really fun, and for all intents and purposes, like talking to Dornbush about it, he reviewed it. I mean, this is just a full-featured Animal Crossing game that you just play on your phone. So
Want
I'm
to be
stoked.
friends with the animals.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a
Friendship
lot
rating.
of critter pals. That's my goal.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one, and I'm actually really looking forward to just Nintendo's mobile movement in general. Like the more mobile games we get from them, I think the
I've
better.
been playing Heroes like religiously. Like,
Oh, really?
Fire Emblem is really like the updates they keep coming out with. Like every other week, it's like, hey, here's more stuff. Here's more free stuff. You have a 5-star hero. Go have them. Like, yes.
Yeah.
They looked at mobile successes out there, and they learned from them and figured out how to just kind of keep a game alive with updates like that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that strategy is like with Animal Crossing.
Cool. And then moving on from there, we did have a Splatfest this past weekend. So if you're a Splatoon fan, hopefully you participated in that.
No.
You know.
I missed it again.
You missed it?
No.
It's always the week before Splatfest. I'm like, all right, cool. We're all gonna play in my house. We have 4 copies of Splatoon in the house too.
Did anybody play?
And then no, even my daughter forgot. And
I'm
like
such a lapsed inkling.
I think the world. Oh, sorry.
no.
something always happens and I forget. And
The
then like the
world-
day later,
There's a sigh of relief when Team Schneider is not in a Splatfest, because I've gone against your whole team, It's terrifying.
Well, apparently we're out of practice now.
Yeah.
Like the
broodals.
the attack brood. It's awesome. They avenge me. Like if somebody kills me, I'm like, oh man, I got nailed. They're all like, it's like little
incredible.
It's like one of
piranhas
like the Shadow of
converging.
War captains. They just like avenge him.
It's a rare moment of family unity. Usually we're all screaming. And
For as much and religiously as I played that game in the first couple months that it came out, I've really dropped off, and I feel like a real gamer's guilt about it because I love Splatoon
But it's so
2.
good, yeah.
And this particular Splatfest had a theme that I was invested in. It was fantasy versus sci-fi. And the last poll that I saw from Nintendo, it was split almost 50-50. So I'm sure the
would've been
matchmaking
great.
was really great.
Yeah.
And I totally slept on it. I was actually working on our Battle Chef Brigade review, so I didn't get a chance to play anything but Battle Chef this weekend. And I was real bummed.
And then you have to the next day you have to deal with the guild where Lily looks at you and Lily is all like, "Did you play?" And I'm like, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
Shout out to Lily. I think she plays every waking hour.
I played like an hour over the weekend for Team Sci-Fi. No, Team Fantasy.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, no longer nice.
Even though Team Fantasy essentially did win the popular vote and the solo battle, Team Sci-Fi did win the team battle, I guess. So I try and play for the Splatfest. I've sort of drifted away from Splatoon 2 since launch, unfortunately, but I definitely always try and come back for the Splatfest. I haven't played this past one, unfortunately. But yeah, moving on from there, Pokemon Bank has also been updated to version 1.4, which means that it's now compatible with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So if you have Pokemon that you want to transfer over to the Pokemon Bank, you can now do that, and that's very exciting. I can't believe that wasn't ready for day one. That's such a big misstep, I think. And it must have been very frustrating, I guess, for a lot of the avid Pokemon players out there as well. So
It's a nice little feature to have for sure.
yeah, absolutely.
It's
Help you complete your Pokedex. Yeah.
Whenever you're dealing with deploys or updates, there are all these things that can slow you down. You know, last minute QA bug or dealing with another platform, right? Like a publisher saying we're going to publish our game on iOS, for example. They don't know exactly when Apple signs off on a release. And it's like, I can see how it's complicated to always sync it up, but I mean, good to see that it's now.
Yeah,
you know,
it happened within like less than a week of launch, so I think that's definitely a good thing to take note of. And then last but not least, our ARMS has a new fighter. Can you guys believe it? Officially, there's a new fighter. His name is Misango, I believe.
Sango.
I think that's how you pronounced it. I also fell off the boat of ARMS a little bit. I don't play it too much anymore, but I know that this is pretty exciting. I mean, I just love that Nintendo keeps adding free content updates to a lot of their
third DLC character.
Yeah,
believe so, yeah.
exactly. So I mean, we just keep getting new stuff, like more and more so to ARMS and to their other, like, you know, there was a free content or free DLC that came to Breath of the Wild as well.
Yeah, for Xenogears.
Yeah, exactly. So
Xenoblade. Why do I always do that?
a lot of people do.
I said Xenogears. Yeah.
You're old.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's
what it
true.
was called. But are you going back in for ARMS?
Yeah, definitely. So I have a tendency. I try to play new characters when they come out, but I've also sort of dropped off. Like I was playing competitively a lot when it first came out, but now it's mostly just to kind of see what the new stuff looks like. And I like that they continue to support ARMS with these wackadoo characters like this dude. He's better than that terrifying lollipop clown, the last one that they put out.
my
So
God.
that's a little less nightmare inducing.
It's the element of fear.
You reviewed ARMS for us. Are you still keeping up with it?
When I can. I didn't get to play this new character. I think I probably will over the break.
Okay.
But yeah, I've always loved their party system.
Yeah.
And just getting more arms is a better thing. Like
How many arms do you want?
as many as I can.
Like 7 or 8 arms?
no, probably like 20.
Ooh, that's a lot of arms.
Yeah.
Like Harryhausen Kali.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Harryhausen
Old
Cully.
school.
Yeah.
All right.
That's not just old school, dude. That's ancient school.
I love
You're-
the Harryhausen movies. So good. Anyway, that's a different podcast for much older people.
the Harryhausen podcast. Stay tuned right here on
The
IGN.
Harryhausen Happy Hour.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Look him up if you don't know him. Amazing animator.
All right, so that wraps up our news segment. I wanted to kind of fly by that because we have a ton of stuff to talk about and catch up on with Super Mario Odyssey. This is going to be a massive spoiler cast. I mean, we're going to basically be covering everything. Like, we're going to be sharing our favorite moments from the game, our favorite costumes, maybe some of the hardest moons. And I just kind of want to get started with everybody's, let's go with everybody's. You know what? Why don't we just start from the beginning? Let's start at the Cap Kingdom and talk about our favorite moments or maybe most interesting aspects of the Cap Kingdom, and if anything sort of stands out from your experiences there.
And if you're watching the video version of this here show, we'll try and pipe in footage, and then we'll warn you as we're getting deeper into the game. Obviously, we're not going to talk about the ending before telling you that we're going to talk about the ending.
Yeah, if we can go in chronological order, you can duck out when
exactly
you're,
duck out when you feel like you're at the end of the level. But Cap Kingdom, I thought the game starts off so like stylishly, like awesome. Like I love that it starts off with this kingdom that's all kind of black and white, muted colors. Like the grass is obviously like the felt from the hats and everything. And it's just like, it's cool. The one thing in hindsight is that that I didn't like is that some of the challenges you can complete later aren't unlocked yet, right? Like when you come back later,
nothing unlocked.
Yeah, it feels very empty and just kind of lets you get to grips with the controls, which is like the garden from Mario 64. I like that, but I was so obsessive. I ran around and I threw my hat at every light. And tried to turn on the lights because I'm like, there's got to be a moon for that, right?
Yeah, I did the same exact thing.
But there's nothing like that in the beginning. That was my only kind of criticism about how the game opens up. But when you come back later, obviously, there's so many different challenges, and I really love the concept of this deadly fog that has things hidden in it. Like there are platforms, or like you can take over a frog and get higher, or a flying Goomba. It's a really cool level, I think.
It was definitely very stylish to start out with. I mean, being able to like look against the background and see like the hazy outlines of the whole like town around you. Yeah. I think they hid how small the level was pretty well, just by like the vistas, and you could even see Cascade Kingdom in the background. There's like shining light in the distance. I think it's the only kingdom where you can see another kingdom in the distance.
Yeah,
that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I really like the aesthetic. To me, it looks and sort of sounds like Halloween Town from Nightmare Before Christmas. It's kind of got this like black and white vibe with all these like gnarly metal fixtures and stuff, and I really dug that. I too had an issue sort of at the beginning with it, that it just wasn't very interesting to me the first time around.
It's a warm up, yeah.
But I feel like that's kind of every kingdom in this game. Like that the first go around, they sort of telegraph where you're going to find these power moons. So coming back later in the game, which I didn't do until after I'd completed the game, totally changed my opinion on this level. And there's so much hidden stuff here. And I especially like the Koopa race in this one.
Yeah,
I think the Koopa racing in this one is really fun.
Yeah,
it really promotes finding shortcuts really easily. But yeah, I don't think I found all the moons here, but I found a lot of them, and there's less in this kingdom than the rest of the
It's one of the smaller ones.
Yeah.
You're
right.
I got.
Thank you.
No, I can't help it.
Yeah.
I got everything in this kingdom, but I do love if you just look at the pathway, right, the hills and stuff. It teaches you that you can roll with Mario, and then it teaches you that the frog exists and can jump really high. I thought that was really clever to start off.
To be fair, I've been rolling with Mario since 1985, so
that's funny.
Yeah, I really like the whole aesthetic of this kingdom too. Like it manages to give off that monochrome look to it, but at the same time still stays interesting and visually I don't know, appealing, I guess. But just like what Per was saying, like when you get to this frog point right here, and you get to possess it, and then you jump for the very first time, that massive jump, that first feeling is incredible. I almost wanted to play the rest of the game, or at least the level with that frog, just because it adds this whole new dynamic of platforming in Mario.
That transformation scene, if you guys recall Majora's Mask, the first time you put on a mask, Link goes through hell as well, and this whole sequence is so trippy.
Philip, do you recall Majora's Mask there? Do you?
Yeah, yeah. I've heard of this game. Yes,
he's wearing the T-shirt. If you,
I think that the idea of starting with the frog is really smart on Nintendo's part, because it's the same basic mechanic. It's just a higher jump, and what do you do as Mario? You jump. So the way that they ease you into this possession mechanic is really clever, just by saying, well, here's something that you're already doing now. Just do it higher.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah, and I didn't know that you could do that little flip that he just did there.
Oh yeah, if you shake the controller,
he'll do a little backflip.
A lot
There's
of the
a lot of hidden Joy-Con jumps for a lot of the hidden Joy-Con movements for a lot of the captured targets.
There's one level later on where you're navigating very small platforms with the frog, different kingdom altogether.
I'm doing that. I think I know the one you're talking about.
If you do the shaking of the controller, you do get more height with that backflip, with that forward flip, and like it's a little easier to land that one.
Are you talking about the one with the purple waves?
Yeah.
Coming through it?
Yeah.
That's literally the one I was playing
That's a
before
mean
this that I
one.
was like pulling my hair out. I got one of them.
Very upset.
But the second.
All right.
Sorry.
It's difficult.
Moving on.
But yeah.
I did a rant. I'm sorry.
It's hard.
Yeah, but moving on from there, we get to the Cascade Kingdom, which is also probably one of my favorite kingdoms. Not my favorite, but I love this kingdom. I love the look of it. We go straight from like the monochrome look to like this beautifully bright, vibrant colored, like, you know, almost prehistoric looking kingdom with dinosaur bones. And this is where we also get to see the T-Rex, I guess, for the first time, right? So that's really exciting. That was a cool thing for me. What do you guys think?
Well, I think, what struck me the most was how much of a style departure it is from like Sunshine 64. Like, whereas like Bonneton, the first level, is much more kind of like stylized, like an area we've never seen before in a Mario game, but stylized. This one almost goes for this, like, I don't know, it's like, it looks like Banjo-Kazooie, right? The background and everything. And then it has this realistic Universal Studios T-Rex in the middle.
Yeah, like let's get that out of the way. That's just the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, right?
It looks just
Like, look at him.
Yeah. I thought originally, if you recall, many NVCs ago, I thought there was a tie-in with Universal Studios.
I remember
because
you
they
saying that at
obviously have
E3,
partnership. Wasn't true. Yeah, so the mechanics, I also really like winding up the chain chomps.
Yeah.
And like just going on the rocks and everything, like smashing rocks. It just feels so fun to possess the enemies in this.
I sort of wish that Nintendo had revealed or teased the other captures and left the T-Rex a secret.
Yeah.
Because coming up on that hill and seeing that T-Rex, if you didn't know it was in the game for the first time, would have been such a, like you'd see it
like,
and probably
what?
freak you out. And then if you're like, oh, can I possess this? And then you can, that would have been such a cool moment in the opening hours of the game. But that being said, I think that regardless of whether or not you knew it was coming, it was still very exciting to, especially when you figure out that you can jump and then like leap out of that T-Rex as Mario to reach other platforms. Like, it's so cool.
And this one has the introduction to the first 2D level. We're actually seeing it in the video
It's a
version here
incredible
too. And
timing
that
on your
was,
part.
I love that. I love that moment. The first time you step into 2D and you're like,
And how the
this
music
is so
changes
cool.
along with it.
Yeah.
Also, this is Odyssey's Gusty Garden. Like, I think the music, like the sweeping, like beautiful.
Explain Gusty Garden to those who haven't played all the games.
It's one of the best galaxies in Mario Galaxy, and it's like this huge open place to explore. Like the orchestra swells. It became like the official soundtrack for the game was the Gusty Gardens music.
Yeah.
I think the same way that Cascade, like you hear this theme over and over in different kingdoms. Like when you start your kingdom, the Power Moon like objectives, it's like in the credits. I think it's just one of the better songs, and were right to have like the main kingdom you go to first.
Gotcha,
This music comes up.
And then there are already a lot of little things hidden in the water here as well, right?
Yeah.
You got that whole concept that you can go into a subterranean world with the T-Rex down there, right? And have very different mechanics, and then obviously a lot of climbing, a lot of diving, and you find your first painting as well that connects you to the world.
Going under the waterfall and seeing just the frame without the painting in it, because the actual paint itself doesn't show up there until you've completed. I think until you've completed the boss in this level, really tripped me out. Because obviously that's a callback to Mario 64. And so I was wondering right off the bat, like, oh, what does this mean? Does this have connections to like an entire, another sub-level here? Or is this, later we come to find out that you can connect almost the entire world in this game by jumping through those paintings. So, yeah.
And then, of course, you've got the ultimate bling accessory, the gold chain chomp.
Yeah, the triple moon.
Weird boss, right? Like style-wise, like where the rabbits thing is kind of an odd new twist for Mario. Ignoring the rabbids.
Yeah.
Not sure how I feel about the general look of the bosses.
I hate the Brutals so much.
But the mechanics are cool.
Yeah, they're fun
the
fights.
Boss fights are really fun.
The design is just awful. Like,
There's
look at this
some
woman.
weird lore with them. We'll get into it later, I think.
I think the boss fights are really cool in this game. I think they're very interesting and they're very suited for like that Mario type of gameplay experience, because like they do add a lot of different and new mechanics, but at the same time it's still very familiar feeling. Like, you know, I was never not sure of what to do in a boss battle. Like I always understood that you probably are going to need to jump on their head or damage them in some way, like a classic Mario experience. So
well, and I think they're really clever in the way that they kind of resemble a Zelda boss fight in that you have to employ something that you've learned in that level to defeat them. Like in this level, you're using that pull mechanic on the chain chomps a lot to find power moons and get through different objectives. And then it winds up being the same mechanic in the boss fight. Like you want to capture this chain chomp and shoot it back at Big Mama Brutal or whatever her name is. So I think her name is Garuk. So I think that's really clever. And you see it a lot in a lot of the boss fights in each kingdom. So
yeah. Sorry. I like this one. It's not my favorite. Like just geography wise, I like some of the platform sections and the 2D stuff. But this is not one of my favorites, I have to say.
Yeah, I feel like it ranks a little lower for me as well.
Yep.
But another very popular kingdom, and I think it was my favorite kingdom once I got to it, is the Sand Kingdom. And I know this was shown off a lot. It was actually, I think the E3 demo for Mario Odyssey, one of the levels.
It was actually the first thing we ever saw of Odyssey.
That's right.
When the Switch was teased back in October of last year, the one thing that we had to go on of a new Mario was him running into Toast Arena. And I remember people just losing their minds because it was like, is this some kind of Spanish-themed Mario?
Or is it an endless runner? We didn't know at the time.
So this is that shot of him running into those buildings was the first thing we saw of Odyssey, way back when.
You're saying this is your favorite one? Because it is one of my favorites. I really like this world.
I'm probably gonna say that like before every single kingdom. Like it's so hard for me to pinpoint one. I was telling Pear before we started recording that the Luncheon Kingdom is my favorite world, but I think that's probably changed in the middle of recording this podcast. So I don't know. But I definitely think that the Sand Kingdom has a lot of the best elements in Mario Odyssey. Like there's so much to do. It's one of the bigger kingdoms.
Definitely one of the biggest.
Yeah. Like you can obviously ride the Draxes.
Jaxies.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
His name is Garuk.
One of the Garuks.
I love this kingdom. I think this is probably like top 3 for me. There's so much to do and see in this kingdom, and it changes so much depending on the objectives that you complete, which I really loved.
It's so varied.
Yeah, and there's a ton of like, it does a really good job of sort of secretly introducing, like, look what's going on here. I didn't even know you could do this.
Yeah, that's my
you can secretly introduce, it secretly introduces little things to you, like the idea of the hat jump. Like extending your jump using the hat to get across the purple goo that's out in front of the Jaxi temple and get that power moon rather than just riding the Jaxi across it, right? And so it's those little things that are like, how do I get out there? It does a really good job. This is where the game really starts to open up, and it does a really good job of teaching you a lot of the mechanics that are sort of behind the scenes.
It's also one of the first ones where you start finding power moons that are incredibly hard to find.
Yeah.
There's some where it's like, there's moving pillars going into the side of a wall. You just dodge them. But like, what if you just sat on the moving pillar thing? It's like, oh, I'd be crushed.
Yeah.
Nope, there's a secret entrance and you get a power move. Like any other game that would kill you. Like you couldn't go. That's like, don't go there. But in this game, it's like, hey, good job for exploring. Here's a power moon.
Yeah, there are a couple of things I like about this world. First of all, the sand, the way everything looks is just gorgeous. Like the sparkly sand, and then the ice effects were really, really cool. Random stuff you find, like a taxi frozen in a block of ice, Like it just kind of shows you how crazy it is. You find a little pond, and you're like, it's frozen, and you have to come back later. And then, of course, you get a fishing mini game there. Like the upside down pyramid. There's so much stuff in this world, but my favorite thing is what Zach touched upon is like once you figure out how to do the hat jump, things where you kind of stood in front of a pillar and you're like, how will you ever get up there? Suddenly become clear, and you're getting up to places that before took you like 30 minutes to get to in a couple of seconds. And it's just like, I love this design, how they reward your expertise at the controls by giving you shortcuts and ways to solve puzzles faster.
I remember, I think at E3, I played this demo area like 3 times. And I felt like I had a pretty good idea of what to expect. And then they had the Nintendo Direct where they're like, oh, here's all the power moves. And they just scroll down like 60 power moves like, this is going to take me forever. And like, I kept thinking like, oh, I found everything. And there'd be like one more secret. Like, I've never been over there before. And I'd check it out and there'd be like 3 power moons hiding in one area.
And how good are the Jaxi controls?
So bad. I hate the Jaxi.
but it's like deliberately made challenging, right?
Yeah.
But it feels so good when you hold down that brake button.
brake and power
it's
slide
kinda
around
like
stuff.
it's power slides and skids sideways.
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like you've got this. It's almost like a powerful motorbike, and like it can't be restrained, right? And like then there are of course some of the challenges that can be really frustrating, like not falling off a pathway, trying to complete a race.
The initial taking notes on the Jaxi, the taking notes challenges are the ones where you hit a musical note and then you bass clef or treble clef, and then you have to like ride out and grab the notes and come back on the Jaxi. Took me so many tries, and I was so frustrated.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, finally when you get it, it's great. But like, I remember I was texting Brian and telling him like, I hate this Jaxi level so much. Like, how do I do it? Should I keep trying? So
I think this is the kingdom too, where there's one of those moon missions where you have to like draw a circle or as close to a circle.
Walk in a circle.
Walk in a circle.
Right, and so like there's the hard version of it, and you have to get at least I think 90.
Yes, 90,
yeah. That it's so weird because every single time I would try it the first time, I would do much better. Like the requirement was only 60 and I would get like 97. But then on my second time doing it, I would get like, I don't know, 80 or 76 or something like that.
Yeah.
Just so difficult. Such a frustrating moon to actually
it would
get.
disappear the line after you started running.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
trick I found is like I would just start running forward while panning the camera.
Yep, that's
and
what I
just
did too.
found a way that would just naturally follow the curve. As long as I held the right angle, he would just run in a complete perfect
Wow,
circle.
yeah. I did the 1 2 1 2 1 2, like kind of walking, and got a pretty good score that way.
This kingdom also has my favorite boss in the game, probably.
Nakalote.
Yeah. Reminds me of that Zelda boss from Wind Waker.
Bunga Bunga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fight is super fun, and I really love the mechanic behind it. And when you fight him again later in the game, it sucks, but that's fine.
I just love the point where he's like, where you take over the fist, and he's just like, throwing the ice
throwing
balls
the
at
ice
you, just
cubes, and he's
smack
got like
him in the
his facial expression changes.
Yeah, he just first freaking out. He's like, oh, good.
It's great.
Yeah, next up we have the Lake Kingdom, which introduced a lot of new like mechanics, like I guess swimming. You can capture fish and stuff like that, which is really exciting. There's some really cool underwater parts. I honestly didn't spend too much time in this kingdom. This is one of those that I just wanted to get through right away. Because I was honestly in a rush to get to Metro Kingdom as soon as possible.
This one is the one where I really liked the Koopa race. Because
done
they
it.
take
I'm
away
so
the
trying to-
stairs, right? The stairs aren't there. Like you restore the stairs, and then the stairs are gone for the race. And like if you do it right and you do a backflip and a cap throw, you can cut short this entire underwater tunnel and really ace that race. And I was like, wow, they really thought this through. They planned this so well. Not my favorite world. I actually don't like many of the fish mechanics here. I think in a later level there's much more fun to be had with water. Like the cheaps don't feel that great. I felt like there's some missed opportunities here, but certainly there's some cool stuff you can do with diving through like the glass, the glass sections of the level. Enjoyable level, not my favorite though.
I like the water plaza, but I just felt like it was criminally tiny.
Yeah,
Like,
it was.
It was just one of those levels. Like there are some small kingdoms and some big kingdoms. This one was like just terribly tiny.
Yeah,
Like, I felt like there's just 2 areas and that's it.
Yeah, it's really cramped. I also I'm not a fan of underwater levels in 99% of all games, and this level doesn't really do much to change my mind about that. Like I think some of the swimming stuff, some of the challenges, like especially the Captain Toad challenge where you have to like drop down that pipe a bunch of times, that's stupid. Like you just barely make it in time, and it's like, well,
I will
that's
say
fine.
the eels were pretty cool, right?
eels were-
yeah.
Yeah.
Like those are some of the scariest eels I think I've seen in any video game.
You talking about those plant boys that walk upright? I don't like those.
Roots.
Yeah, those guys aren't good.
I also remembered that when I first got to the kingdom, it's kind of like almost like a Twilight setting in the air. And I looked up like the huge canyon walls. I'm like, this reminds me of that one Mario Galaxy area where there was those really creepy things looking at you from this top. I'm like, oh god, if they're in this game, I'm turning it off. Yeah. I was like, where are they? Where are they? Didn't see them. I'm
Nope.
probably hidden the file somewhere.
Yeah, so right after the Lake Kingdom comes the Wooded Kingdom. And now the Wooded Kingdom, I spent actually a pretty good part of my day playing the Wooded Kingdom yesterday, just trying to collect some last minute moons. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't really like the look of the Wooded Kingdom, or at least I've heard of that. No? You haven't heard this before?
I like the red girders thing. Like it's so reminds me so much of Donkey Kong, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I like
that look.
the I don't know what you would call it, like the
That's
the
not
joining
words. There you
of tech and
Forest,
and forest.
nature, yeah.
How there are robots cultivating gardens, not robots making more robots.
Right, yeah.
go. This is one of my favorite levels. I love the Wooded Kingdom so much.
Do you like the
I love
challenges
I love
with
the aesthetic. I love that
Yeah.
stupid little legs, man.
I love the music.
Yeah,
too.
Garuk. Yeah. The thing about Garuk was like when you first saw that character being captured, that mechanic just seems so dumb. Right, it was just like that's stupid. But once you get into the nuance of using that dude's little hops, and especially that boss fight at the top of the temple when you have to come up underneath that dude.
Oh, that's so cool.
This guy right here, if
Yeah.
you're watching the video version, such a good fight and uses this mechanic so smart. Also, it has to be said, probably the best music in the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would listen to that all the time.
I love this little thing right here where he just like flailing his arms as he's like smacking into the
Yeah,
stone.
it's another one of those little like character things that each of the captures has that just makes it a little bit
adorable
unique.
little
Like,
onion guy.
when he's boosting up,
Yeah.
he does this little flap with his pedals and it just looks goofy. I love it.
And again, like this one really shows off the versatility of the controls and the powers in Mario Odyssey. There are a couple of, in some of the kind of red girder structures, there are a couple of moons hidden in the walls where you have to get high up. And like I spent a long time figuring out how to do backflips, wall jumps, and cap throws to get them, and I got them all. And then somebody walked by and said, "Why didn't you just use Garuk here? Why didn't you just use
the man? Yeah,
the stilty bean bean rose
little
bush
planty
thing?"
boy.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, just for a second, going back to my aesthetics comment or the look of the kingdom itself, I think what people were saying about it was just that it's not as like unique or interesting looking as like something like the Luncheon Kingdom, where it's like there's so much originality to it, whereas this is more like just a forest level.
Yeah.
I personally dig the look. I think it's really cool. I think it's really interesting.
I think it's gorgeous. The power buttons that shoot out those paths of flowers that wind through the sky that you have to follow to get to some objectives. I think that's super cool.
Even like this area, when you come back after the main story, like you return the flowers, and the whole thing is a giant garden of
The boss area. Yeah.
It just remind me like the big boss fight in Metal Gear Solid 3, just like the
Oh yeah, the way that the pedals
Oh,
are like
yeah.
floating.
It was
and-
beautiful.
There's one of my favorite moments in this is falling off the edge of the world.
Oh, and going
scary.
to the
I hate that place.
the
It's
downstairs.
scary, but it's so cool. Like you fall off this ledge and you think you're dead, and then you realize there is another world
Below
below
you.
it. Like,
Yeah.
I just think that's so courageous to design the game like this, where there are some challenges off the edge where you will fall, and they designed it that way too. They want to get you close to the ledge just to have that moment where you go, "Wait, what? I'm not dead?"
Right.
And then you're in this creepy area and you have to figure out how to escape.
You can't get out any other way. I realized like you can't just warp back up.
No,
you have to
use
find
the-
your own
the
path
stalks,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to use those
it's so
bean
cool.
stalks. And the only thing that bothers me about that underground area, the scary place, is that there's no map down there. Is that right?
Yeah, there's
And
just a
so-
question mark.
Yeah, so it's just like trying to find power moons down there is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Right about
trying
power
to-
moons down there. is a
Yeah,
pain in the ass.
trying to. I have like a difficult time when I do go down there to like investigate, remembering the layout very well, so I can go and find a stock to get back up. It always takes me longer than I anticipated. So
I also
I
have-
think it's cool as an idea of like a safety net or a hidden area. I just wish that there was like some kind of sub map down there or something.
I also had one of the most the stupidest, in my opinion, power moon, where you just fed a plant coins for like an hour.
Oh,
With
I
this,
didn't do
like,
that one.
There's this little like money sack guy you can capture, and he just shoots coins out. And there's this little like flower in a river, and you can't do anything to it. I'm like, what do you do with this thing? Eventually, you throw a coin in it, and it eats it, and it starts growing. and you're throwing, I think, 800 coins at this thing until it finally sprouts into a power moon. Like, really? I spent 800 coins for this?
That's great. I love the little change pocket shooter thing. It reminds me of like the Goemon games had this economy back in the days where you can throw the coins you collect and it becomes a powerful projectile, but you're giving up your money that you need. And I love that they have the same.
Earn those coins.
Exactly. You're like using your hard-earned cash for projectiles. It's really cool.
The Cloud Kingdom is actually the next one up. I almost skipped it myself, but this thing, this one was a little disappointing to me, actually. I thought there would be a little bit more of a cloudy feel to it. Honestly, I didn't get that.
Not enough cloud.
Yeah, not enough clouds, unfortunately.
But it was just a tiny little battle arena, right? Like it was this the fake out one where you thought you're going to Udon City?
Yeah. There's 2 kingdoms like that where you think you're going to a place, then you're like, oh no, here's a boss battle in this one kingdom, and that's all the kingdom's used for. Like in 5 power moons.
So I hear you. It's obviously very tiny. What I like about it though, is that there is more to do there once the game is finished.
Yeah,
Right.
you can go back there, and
then
find
you look at the
additional
list of
moons,
moons. You're like, what? No way! Like they can't fit that many moons into this tiny map.
There's
And
not
they did.
that much. No,
Yeah,
just
a
like
couple.
I wish like they had like made more platforms appear, because some kingdoms you come back to and there are things that weren't there before.
Yeah.
So I wish like they had more like cloud platforms. Like
I haven't gone back
area.
there. I haven't gone back there. What are we talking about? Like Scarecrow Boys over there, or what?
Yeah, like platform challenges where you have to get up high above certain death and like just navigate.
There's
platforms
also
on a timer.
I think there's a pipe with like you have to match like a Goomba with like by capturing different like the face parts of it.
Oh yeah,
that's
it's
like
really fun though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like if you will forever remember which way a Goomba's eyebrows go after that.
Yeah. I've made some just real atrocities of Mario and Goomba's face in a couple of those face match puzzles. Like you think you're doing a good job, and then they show you the photo at the end, and it's so
Oh God, take it away.
Yeah. We're not talking about the boss fight that happens here. I mean, that's like one of the coolest boss fights in the game, and like you repeat it a few times, but it's such a clever mechanic, and I really love the way that fight works.
Yeah.
With Bowser and his punching hat.
I love the reactions like that. That was a very expressive fight. Like when he throws his cap at you, you're like, oh shoot, what do I do? Throw a cap. And he's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And then like when you put the cap on, he's like, okay, well, I can do this. And then like you start fighting him with your punching hat and he'll like get knocked back. But then by the end, he realizes what you're doing. So he'll change his animations
To block.
And you'll see he realizes what's going on.
Yeah.
Great.
Also, his hairdo is awesome.
No, I really enjoyed that boss fight too.
Yeah.
But it's such a tiny kingdom. Like I don't think anybody walks away and says that was their favorite. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's Philip's favorite. His
It is.
And then next up, we have the Lost Kingdom, which was, I think, Pear was saying earlier that this could be his favorite.
No, it isn't, but I really like this one. It's the one with the kind of like fleshy looking plastic plants and everything. But what makes that level for me are the caterpillars. The weird harmonica sound things. Because that mechanic is so different from anything you've done. Like before that, you have, something that stretches upwards or you have something that jumps. This one is like you push forward and then you pull the butt in and like navigate like a bunch of, like you can get across pillars and through like gaps in walls. I just think they just had so much fun with those puzzle moments in this game.
I appreciated that this kingdom was the first time they were like, okay, you got to rebuild the ship. Go do it.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you there's no objective, there's no main path. You just have, there's like, what, I think 30 power moons in the area.
I think,
you can
you
get
need
any
to find 10.
Yeah, you just find any 10 you want.
And this was, I remember when I first played it, I wasn't good at the cap throw yet. I had kind of ignored the cap throw. I'm like, that's fine, I'll come back later for more difficult challenges. And then like you're like ground pounding blocks to make like stairs rise. And then after a while, you're like, you know what, I should really learn this move. And then you realize how fast you can get through this level once you know, even just the butt stomp and like high jump afterwards, just to get up stuff. And you are encouraged by the Koopa race in this one. The Koopa race originally goes like straight down the level, up the stairs, over a moving bridge. And then you realize that no, right off the bat, you can take a shortcut up this pillar. And like, it's a race from the bottom to the top to that treehouse in the top. And it's just so much fun to get that right. Yeah.
I think that this level to me, and I don't know why I felt this way, but the aesthetic to me sort of matched. Like if they were to do an HD 3D remake of Super Mario World, I feel like that whole game would look like this level.
Looks like Donkey Kong Country.
It does
too.
look like
Remember
Donkey Kong
those
Country.
palm
Yeah,
trees?
Yeah.
Like plastic.
But this is kind of the world where everything's, like you're saying, sort of started clicking for me.
Yeah.
Like everything, really started to understand just how everything was working in this level or in this game. And that was like, there's the puzzle where you have to find the 5 moon pieces across the little stumps over the lake. And you have to use that little worm guy to go to each stump and find them. Like, that was really cool. And then what was the other one? Oh, the one that really did it for me was there's a cage with a power moon sitting on top of a palm tree in like one of the open areas. And the only way that you can get that cage open is to trick one of the enemies to jumping off the ledge and like flying at it and breaking it open for you.
And exploding your cap in the process.
Yeah, exactly. And so that to me was one of those things where it was like, this is amazing. I've been thinking
So
about
clever.
like that particular challenge made me think about the previous worlds and think, oh, I've missed a bunch of stuff because I didn't realize I could do something like that.
And you're like, oh, there was a cage in Tostarena, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, go back then and try to solve that.
Yeah.
I had the same.
Yeah.
I had the same moment.
Killer. Like one of my favorite kingdoms, even though it's tiny.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next one is
Phil,
actually
was that your favorite kingdom?
My second favorite.
No, that wasn't my favorite kingdom.
It was Cloud Kingdom.
Unfortunately. But the next one is my favorite kingdom.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sticking to my true words here. I think that's one of the first things I said on my first appearance on NVC. You guys asked me like, oh, what's your favorite kingdom in Mario? Definitely Metro Kingdom. Now that I think about it, especially because there's so many like callbacks in this kingdom to original Mario games. Like obviously, like there's that whole Donkey Kong segment, like right towards the end of that kingdom when you're playing through it the first time, which is amazing and unbelievable. But there's also like other little things in that kingdom that sort of call back to like even earlier Mario games. Like for instance, there's like a movie theater on one of the streets that you can actually see a bunch of people walked up or lined up outside. If you walk in there, you can jump in a pipe, go into 2D mode and play the original like first level of Mario. Like that was so cool.
It's this whole level is a celebration of Mario, and like you realize it, of course, when you get there and you know Pauline, you have her character obviously returning from the original Donkey Kong, and the street names, all that, and you get the connection. But I feel like once you get to the festival, the celebration, you realize how carefully crafted this game is, that it has this midpoint, this clear welcome to the second half of the game.
Right.
We're gonna send you off in style. This is the end of chapter of the first half, and that celebration is so freaking cool. Like that whole 2D level while the music plays, and if you've never heard the song obviously before, it's an even bigger impact. It's just such a clever, awesome way to celebrate a midway point to this game, but also the heritage of Mario.
Yeah, and I mean sorry, you go ahead.
No, cool.
The heritage of Mario is all over this level. Like even back to the theater that you're talking about, or one of the buildings early on in the level, you can see the arcade cabinet art from the original Donkey Kong on the side of the building, and like it's just little things like that reverence and homage, because this is clearly a game designed by people that grew up playing Mario games, and now they're like, great, here's what we're doing with our game, while respecting and paying homage to the older games.
Look at the Donkey Kong barrels.
Yeah.
It's so freaking awesome.
I'll have to be honest, I wasn't completely like sold on this game until I got to Metro Kingdom. Like
Really?
I was very kind of like very I guess cautious on it. I was like, okay, this is a Mario experience. It feels very similar. I know they do some cool things, but I haven't really been like hooked on it. And it wasn't until I got to this point where I was just like, okay, there is something very special with this. Like,
I mean, look at this stuff. It's
I know,
so
like,
good.
like I think it was just the marriage of the song, the effects, the people cheering you on. Like, there's just a huge celebration, and like it never stops.
It was also the first level that people started talking about spoilers for, where they were like, okay, there's something that happens in New Donk City that when you get there, oh man, it's just gonna blow your socks right off, and it really did. Like, I mean, it's so impressive. I say this with zero hyperbole. I think this is one of the best levels ever created in any game, period. Like, I think the way that it's laid out, the amount of challenges that are hidden in every corner, the reverence to the series, like it's a perfect level top to bottom.
It's just a smile level. Like, you're just grinning the whole time. You're like, I can't believe they're doing this.
Yeah.
And like it keeps going on, and you're like, you just found a hidden power moon through a pipe that some people may not have found like 600 moons into the game, you know?
And it's so like just not even just this level part, but like the New Donk City as a whole, I think was so good about like, building things up. Like the way that when you first get to the kingdom after the first boss fight and it's sunny up again, you go in the kingdom and it's like, very kind of like, oh yeah, it's a busy street day. And then you find musicians and everyone you find, the music in the kingdom starts growing up. And then by the end, it's this huge jazz going while you're just in the street. So after this point in the game, every time you go back, there's this huge orchestra playing for you.
Right.
And it feels so like perfect. It feels like you're at home. And it's great. And like I think people were worried when they first saw like, oh, how will Mario work in a world of humans? And it just really well.
I still want to know what the deal is there. I'm still very confused about why he's this like tiny cartoon man in a world of grown businessmen and women. I think that's strange.
I want to know the lore behind Donkey Kong here. What's going on? What happened to him?
Well, he's a chimp.
I know, but like, is this really him? Is this what his life is now? Is he a caged beast to be defeated every celebration?
To be paraded out when it's time for a festival?
They've named the streets after all Donkey Kong characters. So where are they?
Yeah.
Where are the Kongs?
I really like I like the way they introduced this level. I thought it was really cool how they brought us like into this
with the pouring rain and
nighttime, rainy, dark.
The rain was cool. That's right.
Metro Kingdom, and then you get to play as like a tank and you're blowing stuff up, which is really crazy. But yeah, I like that whole look and aesthetic, and then it opens up into this nice, sunny, beautiful city that's basically a giant Mario playground for anyone to enjoy. So.
Yep.
And you can get around this level like you were talking about with the Forbidden Kingdom, or I'm sorry, the what was it, Lost Kingdom? The way that it encourages you to use the triple jump with the hat toss or the backflip with the hat toss, like this like conjuncture, like you can get from rooftop to rooftop, and this level, this is a massive level, starts to kind of shrink because you can figure out the quickest routes around it, and so you don't even have to touch the ground, and you can still get half of the power moons that are in
There's
this
like
level.
a Spider-Man 2 moment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then when you see purple coins high up, just in the footage we're screening right now, you see purple coins on a skyscraper wall. You're like, wait,
How do I get there?
Yeah.
Or you just see a moon like floating in between two buildings. You're like, there's no way I can get in between that gap.
Yeah,
That's
this
insane.
is a fantastic level.
The next one after that is this Snow Kingdom. Now, the Snow Kingdom is a very interesting one. Zach's already shaking his head.
Interesting. I thought that one was meh.
Really?
Yeah. Do you like it?
I
That's a
thought
bad
it was
level.
okay. Like, I thought it was better than the Cloud Kingdom, to tell you the truth. I didn't like. I like that. There's a cool race at the end where you have to like possess one of their like
Cool as in temperature, but I disagree
Cool as
with
in
you
it's
on the
just very
fun.
cold
I think it's
outside.
cool. I like-
Really?
hate
Yeah.
that race.
So-
if Altana was here, he would tell you about how much
Bounding.
he hates that bounding race, because the last 3 power moons that he had to collect, he's collected all of them in the game, and the last 3 he saved that race for his last 3 because he hated it so much.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the whole mechanics behind the way that they implemented the racing. Like they made it so unique.
Interesting.
Yeah, like the whole bouncing
Did you
thing.
like it though? It's like
and-
in Zelda games, you had like the Goron races too. I never loved them.
No.
you
In
know?
theory, it's a really cool mechanic, but in like practice, it's just like, oh, there's so many ways it goes wrong, and then you, hey, like, oh, I bounced the wrong thing. Okay, the race is over because I sucked.
Right. Yeah, I can see how it could be frustrating, but
Hey, you're all right.
I just appreciate like the fact that it's a new concept or a new idea for like a mechanic in a Mario game.
That's true.
And I like that. I like when they try new things, when they're experimental. I definitely am happy that we don't have an entire game dedicated to that system, but it's cool,
To me, the whole level felt like the design team saying, well, we need a snow level. So this was what the snow level was.
But like Mario 64 had a really good snow level, and I feel like this one doesn't quite live up to it. I love
like
the
this,
I
like-
love any of the kind of platform jump challenges where those bitey monsters come out of the snow.
Yeah.
that stuff's really cool because like you have to use them as a pillar, but you also have
you
to
also have
avoid
to
getting killed by them.
Be quick enough to jump off of them. Yeah.
Didn't like how they were all relegated to like challenge rooms. Like this kingdom was just one big challenge room. Like
That's
the
true.
town was underground. There's like nothing of interesting like on the surface. Everything's in little pipes or rooms.
Yeah, I do like though that when you get to this level, you realize that this game isn't templated the same way that a traditional Mario game would.
not, yeah.
You know, like you do have a town where it's about challenges, whereas like Tusta Arena, the town is like in the middle of this big sprawling kingdom. I really like that you never knew what to expect.
Graeber,
Yeah,
is this all your footage that we're watching today?
Yep.
You're very good at Mario.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did the video guide, and it was fun.
And it was fun.
It was fun.
All right, we're running out of time, so we got to keep moving. But the next kingdom on the list is Seaside Kingdom. Now, this one I actually did enjoy quite a bit. This is
Would you say it's your favorite kingdom?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's definitely up there.
I like that one mostly because this is the closest to Mario Sunshine that we've gotten in any of the newer Mario games, and like especially the squirty fish mechanic.
Yeah.
Like the hovering with the fish and having to ration your water.
Yeah.
To get to some of the higher platforms, I thought was super inspired, and this one is really fun to control on top of the water.
Yeah, I mean, conversely, the way that I talked about water levels previously and disliking them, I love this level because it has sort of a match of on land stuff and in the water stuff, and then the things that you can do in the water as a cheap as a fish are fine, but the stuff that you can do with this little floaty guy that like farts out the water, like that it's so fun. And some of those challenges that you get into with that dude, where you have to, squirt out one direction and then drop down and then like squirt out at the last minute, so you can
the
bounce
side
back up
scrolling
and like
part, right?
so
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, really cool stuff.
This is the kingdom where I first started freaking out about HD Rumble.
Yeah.
There's a part where you go up the rolling canyon and those giant spiky seashells rolling down.
Yeah.
And I was playing with the Joy-Cons, and I stopped and I'm like, wait a minute. And I stood still, and one came by on my right, and my right Joy-Con started rumbling.
Yeah.
And I turned around to the left, and my left one started rumbling. And then I would just turn around, and it would reverse.
That's really cool.
And like it would just, the closer it got, the harder the rumble, and then it would just fade away. And like I was like, how does it know?
So it's sort of
These ice
telegraphs
cubes.
where it was coming from.
But like I would run, it would change on my
depending on-
position. So I'd do a
cool.
circle around it, and I would feel it all the way around.
Yeah, it's really cool. Great boss fight in this level too.
Yeah.
The octopus with the fire on his head.
I like how it actually took the whole level over. The whole level was a boss fight.
Yeah.
And
Really
I think someone had like an Easter egg where if you go to like Captain Toad, he has unique dialogue because you're in a boss fight. He'll say something different.
Yeah.
So like they'll like, if you want to go explore while the fight's going on, go ahead. We'll have unique dialogue just for that.
That's great.
So in the spirit of keeping this moving, like depending on what path you took, obviously you may not encounter these levels in the same order that we did, right? But like I experienced Seaside Kingdom, and then I experienced Luncheon Kingdom right after it, which is the next big level. And like you went from water being your friend to water being your enemy for most of the game until you discover some of the powers you can take over. I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, and Luncheon Kingdom is actually where I ended up next as well. And it's obviously one of the more colorful, one of the more vibrant kingdoms out there. And I had a lot of fun exploring this level. Similar to what you can do in Metro Kingdom, how you can capture those like cones and work your way up the buildings.
Forks and
You can do the same thing with the forks, and like there's just a ton of secrets that I was able to like stumble across there. And then I also like the little different costume mechanics that they incorporated too. Like there's a broken down robot somewhere hiding behind a pot that you have to be a mechanic in order to get a moon from him, like to talk to him. So
if you're watching the video version, this is the weirdest moment in the game where you take over a block of meat encrusted in salt.
You twitch.
And your only move is twitch, and it still has the mustache.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good.
I love this kingdom. I think aesthetically, this is my favorite kingdom.
Really?
I love how psychedelic and weird it looks.
It grew on me.
Yeah, when it was kind of funny because you say it grew on you when we first saw this kingdom in a direct or whatever it was. People in the office were like, "What was that new kingdom? I hate it. It looks so stupid." And I was like, "I'm all about it. Like, I think it looks awesome." So I really love this kingdom a lot, and I really like this boss fight. People don't like this boss fight either, and I think it's a lot of fun.
I thought it was cool. It was a little bit hard. The camera was a little hard to control sometimes.
Yeah.
When, like jumping up the stream there, but like I
doesn't love a
love
nice
this
stew?
like cream stew freaking level at the end. It's so great.
I really appreciated how this kingdom changes. It's one of the few kingdoms where the map actually drastically changes when the volcano explodes, and the entire left half of the map is different, even where you start out in the Odyssey. And like not only like some of the ruins disappear, there are new pathways, and you can actually find like chunks of potato in the lava where they weren't before.
Right, where it's like blown out of the soup and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I also had one of the biggest spoilers. Besides the one in the Metro Kingdom, there's a painting.
There's a painting here that
Yeah.
And
So
I first saw it at a
let's
preview
not mention
event.
it yet
I won't.
until we get later.
But I first saw it at a preview event. I'm just like, can I go there? And like, no, you can't go there.
So
I'm like,
my daughter found out about that level through this painting, and I found out by just playing through it. I didn't see the painting.
So Goldfarb found the painting, and you can go to that level, and he was really bummed that they telegraphed that surprise. We'll get there.
Really, I think that's really cool. What an awesome surprise.
Well, then the next kingdom is the Ruined Kingdom. Now, this is definitely the smallest kingdom, right?
Yeah.
The Ruined Kingdom. It has like what, a total of
2
maybe
platforms.
Yeah, and then like 12 moons, I guess. Or
I think it actually has more moons than the Cloud. I think Cloud has like 5, and this one has 10.
Really?
I could be wrong. I mixed them up.
I just know that it's extremely small. I like the look of this kingdom. I thought it, obviously the dragon boss fight is really cool. I like that. But there's not really too much to say other than that. I mean, it's so tiny. I almost
The
feel
Dark
like-
Souls of Mario.
But how cool, how cool was it to
This
come into
intro
this
was cool.
level? It looks so different, and then you've got those swords stuck in the ground. You're like pulling them out. You're like, why am I pulling out these swords? Like, what happens? And then you use that mechanic obviously in the boss battle. And then when you get back later, there are a couple of hidden moons that require you to you've got like a rock that won't break, and you have to figure out how to break the rock.
Right.
Like there's more with the little swords. And
I think that boss fight was very entertaining.
but it looks so cool.
It's the
too.
best boss fight in the game.
Yeah.
Like it's one of it. Well,
Lord of the Rings.
I don't know if it's the
dragon.
best. It's one of my favorite boss fights in the game though. I really and Justin Davis,
See, look at
who
this.
works on an editorial staff, was like telegraphing this boss fight to me for a long time. He's like, there's a boss fight that comes out of nowhere that is so amazing that it's a complete game changer. And he's absolutely right. Like, this is such a cool fight. I love it.
And it's stressful too.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
when you need to get up there quickly and
Yeah.
you're running out of time, you're like,
Did y'all die?
got these really cool moments of just kind of stress and reward for not getting hit. Nice job there.
Did y'all die on this boss fight?
I didn't.
No?
I don't think I did die on this
No,
one.
I died a couple of times. This
think
is
I
the
died,
first.
yeah.
This was the first boss fight that I died.
I like how after you beat him, he
more than
just
once.
hangs there
Yeah.
for like the rest of the game. He's just like, I'm tired now.
I'm just gonna snooze. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Maleficent boss. It's really cool.
And then right after the Ruined Kingdom was Bowser's Kingdom.
Bing! My
Kingdom.
favorite.
Yep.
My favorite.
Yes, which is a very cool looking kingdom. I do love this kingdom. It's not my favorite, Zach. It's not my favorite. But I do like it a lot. Yeah, what did you
The
think?
people just want to know what your favorite kingdom is, Philip.
I need to let it out of the bag.
Completely unexpected that they went full Japanese.
Yeah,
in
love
this
it.
game, I absolutely love that. And I brought up Goem on this franchise before, which really embraced. That would be the Luncheon Kingdom. Embraced the whole kind of Japanese medieval style. This is a samurai castle town with like lots of just Japanese elements, like these
statues.
like these the Buddhist statues.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite puzzles in the game. If you're watching, there's a line of Jizo Buddha statues that one is missing, and so you throw your cap on one across the level and walk it over there, and the little statue itself just turns into Mario while you're possessing it. I love it.
And like there's an area you go in, and it's like a side-scrolling level on these kind of shoji screens, these Japanese like paper screens.
Oh, yeah.
You've got all these lanterns. All the banners are dancing like crazy. It's so charming. And like in the past, we've seen Bowser's Castle always with this like almost Indian like sitar music, and they just completely pull out all the stops for this town. And then it has the best power, the Pokio bird.
Yeah.
The little bird with a pointy nose that can be used to like scale or drop down any vertical surface and even horizontal. It's just so much fun.
The Pokio bird is such a clever mechanic that you could literally have that be its own game.
That could have been an
Like,
indie game. You
Yeah,
play, right?
absolutely.
Like
Like,
that
it
flick
is.
mechanic.
It is so smart and so fun to use, and the way that you it challenges you not only to climb surfaces but like shoot yourself sideways and diagonal to get around obstacles. And then when you have your final showdown with the Brutals, they arrive in this giant wooden mecha.
It is
Yeah.
super Goemon.
And so
feels
you
so
have to
good.
play as this little bird and like peck your way up to the top to attack them. And I was laughing so hard during that encounter because it's such a ridiculous premise.
It's
but
The fact
so
that they built it
fun.
from wood, they messed
Yeah.
up.
It's
right?
great.
They didn't
Yeah.
know you had a bird that happens to love.
What if you could
wood.
also defeat that boss by possessing a fire bro? Just
that
burn
would-
him to the ground.
just like instant
yeah,
kill?
yeah.
I absolutely love this boss fight. The entire level, it's a joy to go back to and look for some of the hidden moons too, because you have to scale some of the structure.
I also like the progression of the music, like when you first start out and when you get to like the inner courtyard going up, like how the music shifts.
Yeah.
You can hear notes of Bowser's theme and like the Japanese style, and even the spark pylons. Use it any other kingdom and just a little like crazy electric music. You do it here and it has like a little Japanese like twinge to it, and it's.
And also the Koopa race is brilliant.
Oh yeah,
like the Koopa race. At first, you're careful. You're just trying to navigate off the platform. Then you go crazy and you just like far jump off a platform. You're like, I hope I make it. You land in a pool of water, and oh yeah, this is Mario at its best.
I think I might pull a Philip here and say that I previously said that the Metro Kingdom was my favorite, but this one might actually be my favorite. This is such an amazing kingdom.
Yep.
Especially the fireworks and the clouds going off all around you. It's such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And then you think you've seen it all with this level, and then what comes next,
Nope.
Philip?
And then, of course, right after that is the Moon Kingdom.
Did anybody else see this coming?
I saw the moon in the sky on the map. I'm like, they're gonna do moons.
I think from the moment every time you see Bowser's ship fly away and in a cutscene, it's going towards the moon every time. And then when you get to New Donk City, the whole mural and the plaza, there's a giant moon there. I'm like,
I
the
didn't
moon.
see that.
You're gonna go to the moon. I see it coming.
Interesting.
Just the world map. The moon is like hovering there. I'm like, oh yeah, they're totally gonna do it.
I like maybe not since 6 golden coins have you traversed a moon level like this in Mario. So
I like that the Moon Kingdom. You're right. You're so right. And it reminded me a lot of like, playing Galaxy. I love how they change the gravity once you get there. So like you obviously have to almost relearn the jumps and the timing for some of them. So like, that's a little complicated, but it's cool. It's a lot of fun. I didn't have as much fun here. I didn't really like the look of it. It's very bland looking. Obviously.
Oh, is the moon a little bland for Philip?
I wish they'd spruce up the moon a little bit. Maybe add some curtains or whatever. But
I kind of feel you on that. Like the idea that I had to relearn the physics for this level and we'll have to subsequently relearn them again when I go back to hunt for more power moons kind of bummed me out. Like, really? I totally understand it. Like, it's really cool in some places, but then there are some jumping challenges that just drove me crazy in the way that you had to recalibrate how you were going to land or how far you were going to go or something like that. So while it was cool that you could do these like insane jumps across chasms and stuff, there are parts to me that just sort of confused me. So
it actually annoyed me. Only because I would have been fine with the moon jumping. But then, like 5 minutes later, you go in the cavern, it's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
And then it never comes back. I'm like, oh, okay. So it just
I can see how that's
gravity.
Yeah, I do. The cavern thing is really awesome.
Yeah, and then when you get
really
the chapel,
love the
it's back to
cavern
normal
run.
again.
No, but I love the physics that it messes with you, and I was just having fun running around like in the Mario Garden for the first time. And then you get to the frog. And when you're at the frog and you see this big wedding chapel and you get the frog power and he jumps absolutely ridiculously high.
Right.
And you saw a moon beforehand that was absolutely
way
ridiculously high up in the air. That's where the level really came together for me. And then I do think the cave with the I played Super Mario World in Japanese, so his name was Bull, the football player.
The charge and shot.
Yeah. So, and like when you get to actually play as him and smash through things, I thought it was really.
I was happy to see him again. I'm like, I missed you.
Yeah,
he hasn't been around in a while. Yeah. And I also thought it was really clever that the way, ostensibly, the way you end that game is the way that you begin it. Like you possess a frog to get to your last objective, and in the same way that first frog jump was like, wow, I can jump really high with this character. When you do it the second time, you're like, holy crap, like this is insane.
Yeah.
So.
And then obviously a big surprise for me and probably for the rest of you guys, I'm assuming, was the Mushroom Kingdom, seeing Peach's castle. Like I wasn't really expecting that sort of like full-blown reliving of that castle, like getting to actually explore it. But it's cool to see it in the game. Like I had a lot of fun running through there, finding Yoshi on top of like the castle was cool.
How many of you guys immediately tried to get on the roof to see Yoshi?
That was the first thing.
Yeah.
But it's like and like New Donk City showed me New Donk City had this whole Mario Donkey Kong homage, 2D homage, and then you get to this, which is Mario 64.
And you can buy the costume.
You can buy the costume. Some of the challenges recall it. The whole point of like jumping into the painting.
Right.
You can replay some of the boss battles. That was such a awesome surprise. I kind of like expected it because there was so much chatter on Twitter, and like I kind of half avoided it, but like I think people are telegraphing that this level was in the game. But so cool to see it recreated.
Yeah.
Down to like looking into the sun in the hallway, like you get a moonfall looking into the sun.
Yeah, everyone's reaction when they first find a power star.
Yeah.
And it plays the jingle like, wait, those are back in the game?
Yeah, the stars are back. But yeah, like obviously this is kind of like the nice bonus to the game. There was another bonus, but like you want to talk about the ending first before we get into the final level, which I think takes a lot of moons to unlock.
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Yeah, so what do you guys think of the final boss battle?
Playing as Bowser with the musical backdrop of that like crazy like shred heavy super Japanese butt rock jam is so much fun and such a great way to end this game. I love the last encounter, just like tearing through all these walls. Like you really feel very powerful, like taking down these pillars to make sure that you have bridges and stuff. Like I think it's awesome. Like it's such a good way to end this game.
It was catharsis,
Yeah,
man.
totally.
It's like they put you through this odyssey, right? Like you're out there exploring, trying to get back to your loved one, and you're like, she's always out of reach, and he's always out of reach. You finally get to this moment, and you see Bowser there, and you're like, wait, can I throw my cap? And then when you do it and it works, you're like, this is freaking awesome. And you get to beat up stuff.
Yeah.
For like minutes on time, you get to smash stuff. And then you go into the 2D pipe and you see the 2D version of it. I was just sitting there, I was like saying, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's
I was
so
having
great.
so much fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun running through as Bowser. I wasn't expecting that either. That was really cool. Just getting to play as him I think that was my first time playing as Bowser, like in an actual Mario game that wasn't like Smash or anything like that. But yeah, it's just really cool. Like we're seeing right now on the TV that it's just he's like insanely overpowered. He just has to shoot a fireball and it blows up the blocks like crazy. But it was really cool just getting to see the game from his point of view, even if you were just capturing him.
There are not a lot of games that get this right. Like Half-Life 2, I think, was like that too, where in the end of the game, you basically get the superpower. You like played around with a gravity gun, and then you get this power where you're just in control. You're like Neo, who has realized like how the Matrix works. And this game gets this so right that at the end, you're just destroying everything. You're breaking through the fabric of the game.
Yeah. How'd you guys like that music too that was playing?
It's so fun.
It was so weird. I did not expect it at all. I'm just like, what is going on? I think I liked it in the end, but I was just like, is this a different game?
I like the ending song better than I liked Jump Up Superstar.
Really?
Yeah, I can't.
I like Superstar.
I could die a happy man if I don't have to hear Jump Up Superstar one more time.
And then there's just enough danger. Like this level is super easy, let's be honest. But there's just enough danger when you see all the platforms falling behind you that you feel like you should keep moving. Like this is like when Sonic the Hedgehog runs fast and you get that adrenaline rush. This level is all about pushing you forward, but doesn't really stop you with stupid stuff. I really appreciated how committed this level is to like just you having fun.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
how did you feel about the ending scene?
Do you mean the final scene? If you're still here and you haven't finished it, obviously get out. You think both Bowser and Mario are essentially proposing to Peach. Right?
It seems super out of place to me.
It is very strange, but it is that weird kind of lighthearted, like core to the entire game. Like obviously she wouldn't choose Bowser, right? But like you're at this moment where you're like, well, why should she choose Mario?
No, I get that, but why would Mario just go like, wait, I gotta propose now? And just like you were about to like walk confidently towards this scene, like I'm gonna walk confidently towards her when I'm like 2 feet away. And then
I love the ending. I think it's really funny.
It is funny.
I think it's really funny that she's just like, no, I'm just gonna go do my own thing.
Because it's like they set it up like she really never has a choice in these adventures.
Oh, yeah.
She's always whisked away by someone, and like look at them like falling over themselves, and she's just like, you know what? No, I'm gonna travel.
Yeah,
and like
it's a very
that's literally what she
ending.
does.
Like, I really dig it. Yeah.
I also like how they're just like, oh, that kooky old Bowser tried to kidnap Peach, but hey, he's proposing. No, it's okay, Bowser.
Yeah. I love that Mario and him are just like, right there. Just like, it's gonna be okay.
You like ruined everyone's lives. What are you doing, Mario?
Yeah.
But it's like it's this reminder that the entire kind of quest is just nonsense.
Sometimes like, hey, you want to
absolutely,
go go-karting later? Yeah, let's go karting.
What does the spiky purple dinosaur want with Peach, right? Like it's a strange and funny ending. But Mario's got his little moment there, his final moment where he jumps.
I do like what they do with
just
Peach.
kicks off of Bowser.
Cold move.
Yeah.
I do like what they do with Peach after when you go to the castle and it's like, oh, she's gone on vacation. And you have to go find her.
And then you find her in each kingdom.
And she has different outfits on.
Yeah.
She's got this really cool like black outfit in the Cap Kingdom, and just like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
she's
so-
got a like a yukata, like a Japanese kind of summer kimono.
with the
she's
little
in
flower
houses.
prints.
Yeah, with the fire flower prints, right?
Yeah, it was so nicely like, hey, I've been kidnapped. It's time to see everywhere that I went against my will and actually visit it.
Yeah, she's going on her own odyssey, and like she's not even bringing Mario along. I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed the way the game wraps, and then of course there's a final reward for collecting even more moons.
2 final
right?
rewards.
Well, there are 2 final rewards. What do you got?
First one was Dark Side.
Yep.
Which was 250 power moons. You unlock another kingdom, which is technically part of the Moon Kingdom. It's like another side of it, and that's like the first like challenge gauntlet. It's like, okay, let's see what you've learned in 2 different ways. One of them is you have to go fight every Brutal in succession, and you don't get any more hearts, ending with the Mecha Brutal battle. And you're also in Moon Gravity.
You can cheese it with a Peach amiibo, of course, but where's the fun in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I gotta say, like style-wise, I was disappointed that these levels were basically the Moon plus a Luncheon Kingdom, kind of like a weird mix. But I was appreciative that they had spent all this time creating extra challenges, and there are some brutally hard, like like the Scarecrow challenge with the bullet bills that I think we did a separate video of. It's just so mean.
There's some like borderline Champions Road stuff in these last 2 kingdoms.
Yeah,
Like,
I think-
it is tough platforming.
I think the Crumbling Road one where you have to keep rolling and get the momentum and keep jumping and then roll again. But if you hit the one roll, you're dead. Like, oh, those are hard. And also I love the hint art. I think those are such a really cool thing to do, is to go like, here's some abstract art. There's a clue of a kingdom. Go find it. And only once you view it can you go and find it in another kingdom.
Yeah.
And there's ones where it's like you see a bunch of like different moon symbols. And one of them is highlighted like, okay, where have I seen moon symbols? And it's only when you go back to the Cloud Kingdom, you look at the main platforms and they're all actual like a whole moon, half moon, like quarter moon. And you would never notice that unless you were actually taking time to look at these different things in these kingdoms.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this game, it's like, I thought this game would have like 250 moons in it.
Me too.
You know, and then like I
Yeah.
keep playing, I'm like, okay, this game is gonna have 500 moons
Right.
in it, and then you're like, all right, this game has a lot of moons in it, and obviously they're not 999 because you get multi moons and you
Right.
can buy some moons, but that they spend so much time making sure that this is no anemic game. This is no quick cash-in. This is a full-fledged deep Mario game with just so much to do. And like the last challenges kind of reaffirm that, where they spend a lot of time in making something that is hard but really rewarding too.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely one of those games that you can probably keep playing for a long time to come, especially if you're just playing it casually. You're not in a rush to 100% anything. It'll last you a long time. I mean, I'm not planning on 100%ing it myself.
I am. I have to. It's my
I
job.
am too.
I'm not anywhere close to stopping anytime soon. So I think
Yeah,
it's gonna be
that's
cool.
that's been the biggest thing for me is like every time I sit down, I'm still working on Wolfenstein. Battlefront 2 just came out. I played Battle Chef Brigade. There's all these Assassin's Creed. I still haven't finished Persona 5. I'm sorry, Andrew. But there's all these games that I still have on my list that I need and want to play before the end of the year. And every time I sit down and think, oh, what do I want to play tonight? It's always Mario. Like I always just want to play Odyssey for the last however many weeks since it's been out. And like you, like I will 100% it eventually, but I'm looking forward to taking my time and figuring it out and like playing it a couple months down the road on a plane when I'm like, oh, I should get back into this. So
The way it's designed, it really encourages you to just kind of jump in, obviously, with the Switch, pick it up on the go, and do a moon or do a scavenger hunt and try to find something. It's like I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins as well, and like you stop playing for a week and then you start again. You're like, oh man, how
was
do
I
you call the
doing?
Falcon? Wait, like what do you do? Right? Like this game, because you've played Mario games for such a long time, it is very easy to just pick it up 3 weeks later, just do a couple of moons and just have fun with it.
absolutely.
Did anybody get 500 power moons yet?
Yeah.
So you went to the darker side?
Yeah.
So that's the final unlockable area. which is like the victory lap of the game. You have everybody shows up on the moon for some reason and cheering you on, like, you can do it, Mario. Like Pauline's playing her band there on the moon for no reason. And then it just goes into like the hardest Champions Road gauntlet where you have one life to live. If you die at any point, you're back to the beginning.
Yep.
And it's like, it's almost like it goes through almost all the captures. It's just like, hey, you captured, the uproots. How good are you? Let's see how good you are. And like, put you on a moving platform with all these spiky guys coming at you.
Yeah.
To constantly move before you fall in the lava. Like, I really like how it was like the final exam of captures.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's just such a perfectly organized game. You know how you learn your special powers, and then in the end, like it really is the final exam. Like, can you handle it?
Yeah.
So you gotta do that one.
I know. I'll get there eventually.
Good luck.
But yeah, that's our show this week, guys. Unfortunately, we ran out of time for question block, but do please email all of your questions if you want to hear us answer them here. The email address is nvc@ign.com. So I check that every day. So definitely make sure you're emailing us. Thank you guys very much for watching and listening. We are a weekly show on IGN.com, but you can also watch us on YouTube, so definitely make sure that you're subscribed to the NVC channel and IGN channel as well. Also, we are available on every basically popular podcasting service available, so definitely leave us a review on iTunes if you can. And before we say goodbye, where can people follow you at, Per?
Oh, just on Twitter, PearIGN. I'll be around for Thanksgiving break, just catching up on all the games that we need to play for Game of the Year vote. But I think it's safe to say that there are 2 Switch games that are high up on my list for that short list.
Wink, wink, wink.
Cool. And where can people follow you at,
And
Brendan?
you can follow me at Raga_Fraga. That's 2 G's in each one. And I've worked on the Super Mario Odyssey guide. So if you have any questions, you can check out the guide. Let me know. Tweet me personally if you need to. I will help you as best I can. We can do it.
I've sent Graeber many a DM to ask him a question about how to get through stuff.
Yep.
So, and
Where can
I'm
people
at
follow you at?
ZachariasD on Twitter, and you can also follow us at NVC Podcast on Twitter as well.
Cool. And you can follow me at Filip Miucin on Twitter. And thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you have a very, very nice holiday, and we'll see you next week.
Get those moons. Jinx.
Did you say get the foods?